even when applying justice and practicing justice and in qada, in judicial procedures and in judicial proceedings, rahmah is always there in this deen. Example, a person who kills another person intentionally, and we have all the necessary proof. And evidence and proof in this case is called in Islam, it should be beyond doubt. We call it in criminal law here, beyond reasonable doubt. And that is what Rasulullah ﷺ taught, and which is ijma' of the ulama of this ummah, أن الحدود تدرأ بالشبهات. That punishments in criminal law are to be averted by shubuhat, by doubts. If a doubt is introduced in the question, then there is no more application of the hadd, of the punishment, for instance. Justice is sought. Justice is very important, but at the same time, because we're human beings that are fallible, if you find a shubha, and Rasulullah ﷺ puts it in the affirmative statement, in the command form, إِدْرَاءُ الْحُدُودَ بِالشُّبُهَاتِ. Avert indeed punishments by shubuhat, by doubts. In other words, the Muslim judge is to look for shubuhat, not to assume there is no shubha, but to look for shubuhat. That is the rahmah of this deen. Number two, in the same case, if I were to ask the audience here, do you agree with death penalty? Does Islam condone death penalty? Is there death penalty in Islam? I know perhaps 99.9999 will answer, yes, of course. But allow me bother you. Are you ready to be bothered? My answer is no. Islam is not for the death penalty here. Why? Death penalty is not equal to qisas. Many people make this mistake. Death penalty is not equal to qisas. Number one, death penalty, when you have a case of murder, then you have the state versus the individual, versus the accused. In Shara', it is not the state versus the accused, it is the family of the victim versus the accused. هذا حق من حقوق العباد أو حق اختلط فيه حق الله وحق العبد وكان حق العبد فيه غالبا. In this case, in Sharia, this is a right of the individual, not a right of God. Or better yet, a right in which there are both rights of God and rights of the individual, and the rights of the individual supersedes the right of God, as the fuqaha put it. And you know what? In Sharia, it is highly recommended to forgive and to accept diya instead. What they call loosely as blood money, which, it's not blood money. It's diya. And if the guardians or the parents of the victim forgive, then by law there is no hadd. In the death penalty law, whether the parents forgive and the guardians forgive or society forgives or not, it does not matter. The person will burn. That is not Shara'. Shara', once they forgive, and the ayah of the Quran is there in Surah Al-Baqarah and others, when the guardians and the parents forgive, that's it. There is no hadd. this is not like death penalty. Furthermore, of this rahmah. By the way, there was an instance when a person committed a murder, killed his son. Somebody killed somebody's son. And then he was brought in a rope by the parent of the victim to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam listened to both parties, and the person agreed, indeed, consented that he committed that murder. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, forgive. Forgive so that this man is not going to be killed by hadd, by qasas. You have that right. But the first thing he told him, forgive. And the man said no. And then he pulled the murderer to take him with the people to execute him. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says to him, this is an authentic hadith, اذهب فإنك مثله. Go, then you are like him. Then he went on, and then the companions went to him, did you hear what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said? He said, no. What did he say? He said this, إنك مثله, you're like him. He said, did he say that? He said, yes. He said, then I forgive. And accepted the diya. And accepted the diya. This is the application of justice with rahmah. And even the diya, now the diya usually is mandated in a case when there is no execution, or when a person has committed a murder that is inadvertent, that he did not mean it, or she did not mean it, it was a mistake. And assume that is proven like that in a court of Sharia, in a court of law. Then in this case, there is no imprisonment for 25 years, or for 5 years, or for 10 years. The first rule of law is diya. That the person accepts compensation from the accused, or the person who had committed that unintentional crime, murder. But look, rahmah here is shown again where? That the diya in this case, ala al-aqilah. It was legislated that who is going to pay this diya? Not one individual, the person who unintentionally committed the murder, but the entire aqilah, the entire family of the tribe, or the entire tribe on the male side of the person who committed that unintentional crime. ويقول الفقهاء تخفيفا عن الجاني, in order to ease and to facilitate the burden of the person who unintentionally committed that murder. This is rahmah or what? Spread over 3 years, to be paid in a time spread over 3 years. Is this rahmah or what? Besides other fiqh lessons that we learned from this, I'm focusing on this concept of rahmah.